Hello everyone, and welcome back to The Poland, the channel where we explore the stories, the culture, and the global footprints of the Polish people. From someone who isn't Polish, but who has grown deeply fascinated by Polish history and its impact on the world. Today's video is something I think you'll really connect with, because it turns out Britain is full of Polish fingerprints. Hidden in literature, politics, fashion, film, and even the way British society evolved after World War II. We're exploring 10 notable British figures with Polish heritage, some fully Polish, some half, some descended from noble Polish families, who helped shape British culture in ways most people don't even realize. This is not just a list, it's a story of migration, loss, survival, reinvention, and unexpected influence. And it's a story that many Polish families watching this today will recognize in their own grandparents, their own parents, maybe even themselves. So grab a tea, a coffee, or if you're watching from Poland, maybe a nice hot herbata. Let's begin. We start with a giant, a man who changed English literature forever. Józef Conrad, born Józef Theodor Konrad Korzeniowski, to a proud Polish noble family. And let me share something many outside Poland don't know. Conrad didn't speak a word of English until his 20s. English became his third language. And yet he became one of the greatest English writers who ever lived. That's not just impressive, that's almost mythological. His father, Apollo Korzeniowski, was a Polish patriot and freedom activist. And because of that, the family suffered exile, surveillance, poverty, and loss. These experiences shaped Conrad's worldview. The darkness, the moral struggle, the existential loneliness in novels like Heart of Darkness or Law Jim. When Brits read Conrad today, many have no idea that the emotional weight behind his writing comes from Polish national trauma, Polish resistance, and the resilience of a family that refused to give up their identity. Conrad didn't abandon his Polishness. He carried it with him. He turned it into art. And that makes him not just a British icon, but a Polish one too. Next up, we move to the world of elegance, style, and British high society. Tomasz Starzewski, born in London to Polish refugee parents, became one of the UK's best-known fashion and interior designers. And here's the deeper layer. His parents, like so many post-World War II Polish families in Britain, arrived with nothing except trauma and determination. They rebuilt their lives from scratch. Their son, Tomasz, grew up in this world of Polish diaspora, families who worked incredibly hard, spoke Polish at home, and held on to traditions, while trying to fit into a country that wasn't always welcoming. Yet Tomasz didn't just fit in. He became a designer whose clients included British royalty and public figures. His career is almost symbolic of the Polish story in the UK, rising from refugee roots into cultural influence. He represents the creativity Poles brought into post-war British culture. Now, let's talk about someone whose influence on British society is enormous, but often invisible. Marian Kozak, born in Poland, survived the Holocaust as a child thanks to courageous Polish families who hid her. Imagine that kind of childhood. The fear, the uncertainty, the loss. It never leaves you. She moved to the UK, became a scholar, and a lifelong human rights advocate. Her activism against war, injustice, and inequality was shaped directly by her survival story and by the Polish families who protected her. But there's something more. She became the mother of two major figures in British politics, David Miliband and Ed Miliband, which brings us to Ed Miliband, not a Polish himself, but deeply shaped by his mother's Polish-Jewish history. In his speeches, Ed has spoken emotionally about his family's trauma, how survivors of war and genocide rebuilt their lives in Britain. He once said something that stuck with me. His parents taught him that the worst thing you can do is walk by on the other side. That's very Polish, that idea of responsibility, of moral duty, of helping others even when it costs you something. So whether or not people agree with his politics, Ed Miliband's worldview, his values, are undeniably shaped by Polish resilience and the weight of Polish history. In the 1980s, when Joanna Kanska came to Britain, it wasn't easy for Eastern Europeans. She arrived in the UK as a young actor and landed roles that introduced British TV audiences to something fresh. A Polish character played by a real Polish woman speaking with a real Polish accent, representing an authentic Polish identity. Her starring role in a very peculiar practice, and especially a very Polish practice, made her something of a cultural ambassador, even if unintentionally. For many Brits, she was the first Polish character they ever saw portrayed with nuance, and that matters. Representation shapes perception. She helped humanize Poles in a time when Eastern Europeans were often stereotyped or misunderstood. Krysia Nowak, a British artist with Polish descent, represents another side of the diaspora story. The way heritage seeps into creativity even generations later. Her artwork, full of layered textures, mixed media, bold contrasts, often reflects themes of identity, memory, and cultural belonging. What's fascinating about second or third generation Polish creatives is that their connection to Poland is often emotional rather than geographic. They inherit stories, they inherit pain, they inherit pride. And Krysia's art shows that Polish roots can bloom in unexpected ways, even outside Poland. Ziggy Heath, born Zygmunt Gidroyk Heath, is part of a newer generation of British-Polish creatives. His name, Gidroyk, hints at old Polish nobility. And like many Poles born in the UK, Ziggy represents a blend. British in environment, but carrying a Polish soul through family traditions, values, and stories. He's spoken about navigating identity, being British but also feeling the weight of Polish Catholic heritage. Many young Poles in the UK will see themselves in him. That split identity, that dual belonging. His career in theatre and film embodies a modern, evolving British-Polish identity. Ingrid Pitt's life could be a film, and in many ways it was. Born in Poland, she survived the horrors of a concentration camp as a child. Later, she became a star in British cinema, especially in horror films of the 60s and 70s. Why horror? Some say the intensity, the darkness, the emotional extremes of the genre fit someone who had survived real darkness and refused to be defined by it. She transformed trauma into strength, becoming one of Britain's memorable cult actresses. And her success carried her Polish identity into British pop culture, unexpectedly but powerfully. Lisette Anthony, a British actress and model with Polish roots through her family line, Ciotko. She's not often associated with Polish heritage publicly, but it's there. And it shows how deep Polish influence runs in Britain, sometimes hidden, sometimes forgotten, but still present. Her career in film, theatre and television reflects the diversity of British-Polish families who integrated into British life long before the big migration waves of the 2000s. And finally, one of the most visibly Polish-rooted British celebrities, Rula Lenska, born Róża Maria Leopoldina Łubińska, from an actual Polish noble family, the Łubińskis. Yes, real Polish nobility living in Britain. Her family fled after World War II. Their home, their land, everything was taken by the new communist government. They lost their titles, but not their dignity. And here's what's amazing. Rula Lenska kept her noble Polish roots alive in the UK entertainment world. She didn't hide her background, she celebrated it. Through her career, she showed British audiences that Poles aren't just immigrants or laborers. They're scholars, artists, nobles, freedom fighters, survivors. Her identity became part of British culture, and that's powerful. So what do these 10 stories tell us? Across literature, acting, politics, fashion, and art. Polish heritage has shaped Britain more than most Brits realize. But here's the deeper truth. These aren't stories of Poles who became British. They're stories of Poles who carried their Polishness into Britain and enriched the country because of it. Polish courage, Polish resilience, Polish creativity, Polish grief, Polish pride. These qualities traveled across borders. They survived wars, exile, and trauma, and they planted themselves in British soil, where they grew into something new. If you're Polish watching this, your culture, your history, has impacted the world in ways far bigger than borders. And that's something to celebrate. If you enjoyed this journey and want more stories about the global Polish influence, make sure to like this video, share it with friends, and subscribe to The Poland. It helps us grow, it helps us bring more hidden stories to light, and it shows the world that Polish history matters. So hit that subscribe button, and let's continue exploring the Polish story together.